We'll now bring in Rami Khouri. He's the co-director of global engagement at the American University of Beirut. He's joining us from New York. Thanks for being with us once again. So it's been a year since Shireen was killed. Still, no one's been held accountable, despite the amount of evidence and the numerous investigations. Rami Khouri, do you think that there will ever be justice and accountability for Shireen?
It's very hard to tell. I think that she's had a certain amount of justice in the sense that her killing by the Israelis has sparked an extraordinary global response to the point that she has elicited support and demands for more information and an independent inquiry from people all over the world, the European Union, people in the American Senate, and independent observers and media institutions, the UN. So she has generated more focus on the Israeli policy of assassinating journalists than virtually anything else in recent history. And we need to remember she's the 44th Palestinian journalist who's been killed by Israelis since the year 2000. So it's not an isolated incident. The Israelis will never, as they stand now, they will never allow their policies to be examined by the world, because it'll open a floodgate that would reveal their exaggerations and distortions and deceptions and lies about so many things that they've done. But it's getting close to the point where people globally are going to probably take some firmer action against the Israeli government, demanding accountability and justice, while assuring the Israelis that they're going to, remain secure because the world wants them to exist as a state. But at the same time, the Israelis have to let the Palestinians also have right to exist as a state.
Right. Well, the Palestinian Authority has also taken the results of their investigation into Shireen's killing to the International Criminal Court. Just a short time ago, our Kristen Salumi tried to ask the head of the ICC in New York where that investigation stands right now. He kind of avoided answering her. But do you have any hope at all that the ICC investigation will yield anything?
Not in the short run, no. The ICC, like many international institutions, is beholden to Western political influence and financing, and they are as susceptible to Israeli pressure and threats and blackmail as many other institutions are, including politicians in the U.S. So there's no sign of the ICC actually carrying out a real investigation. But all the other institutions in the world, the Associated Press and Jazeera and CNN, Human Rights Watch, and an incredible number of B'Tselem in Israel, all the institutions that do serious investigations, like the New York Times, also in the Washington Post, they are not susceptible to the same kinds of Israeli pressures, and therefore they have done investigations, and all the investigations that independent, credible people have done suggest clearly that the Israelis killed her and probably killed her intentionally. That's why an independent international investigation is necessary. The Israelis are using all the possible power they have, to the point where they're now right and left accusing anybody who criticizes Israel of anti-Semitism, which is probably the biggest scare tactic that any Western politician or organization can suffer. If they're described as anti-Semites, it really hurts them. But right. This is having less and less impact, and the Israelis are starting to see the limits of their power. So something has to give soon.
Shireen's death, the way that she was killed by Israel, this was a personal loss for many, many people around the world. She was known as the voice of Palestine. On this one-year anniversary, how will you remember her, Rami Khouri?
Well, I met her a few times at conferences and meetings and some training I did in Palestine, and I didn't know her very well, but I met her a few times. And her remarkable legacy is that her 25 years in AlJazeera really paved the way for what we're seeing now all over the world, the floodgates of Palestinian free expression, global media interaction, telling our own story, pushing back against Israeli lies and exaggerations, demanding action from docile Western, say European, American, Canadian, other Australian, powers all over the world who are afraid to demand that Israel be treated the same way as everybody else. A lot of that has been enhanced and made possible by Shireen's career. in the media. She gave the example of an honest, hardworking, courageous, but professionally astute reporter who goes for the facts and digs up the evidence to support the facts. And that's all the world is asking in an independent investigation. So we want accountability for the actions of the Israeli government and any government in the Middle East. This is not happening because the Israelis refuse to cooperate, and the Western world refuses to use the power that it has to demand that Israel and the Arabs be treated according to a single standard of morality and justice and accountability.
Right.
But we're getting very close to a pressure point where something has to break, and we hope. Yeah.
My apologies. I'll have to jump in there. Rami Khouri, we've run out of time. Thank you so much for speaking to us from New York. Now,